39, we're going to begin in verse 14. It says, I will praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made.
Yes.
Say to your neighbor, I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Say it to the other neighbor, I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Hallelujah. Marvelous are your works, that my soul knows very well.
Marvelous are your works.
My frame was not hidden from you. When I was made in secret and skillfully wrought in the lowest parts of the earth, your eyes saw my substance being yet unformed. And in your book they were written, the days fashioned for me. Say fashion.
Fashion.
Fashion means purpose.
Yes.
Means to be planned out. You and I have a specific purpose.
Yes.
We were born with a specific purpose inside of us. You're not an accident. Contrary to what people may have said, you're not an accident. Everything has been planned out by God. And He put a specific calling and plan and purpose in your life. Now watch this. When as yet there were none of them, before you were born. Before you were born, you had a purpose. You had a purpose before you were born. Before you were a twinkle in your daddy's eye, you had a purpose. Before you got in your mother's womb, you had a purpose. You're not an accident. God had looked at time and decided the perfect time for you to come on earth. Because you were sent to make an impact. You were brought here to make an impact. And this time, it doesn't matter how it happens.
Yes.
But you have a specific purpose. Whether it's to affect one person
Yes.
or millions. You have a purpose. Whether it was to give birth to children who were going to impact the world. You had a purpose. You were chosen for this time.
Yes.
You were born by accident in this day and age.
Come on.
God had placed a purpose inside of you. So there's no reason that anything should hold you back. You might have a struggle today, but don't let that struggle hold you back from where you're going. You have a destiny inside of you. You have a clock that's ticking because God placed eternity inside of you. God placed inside of you a purpose. And what happens is a lot of people mistake it for a, what do they call those things when crisis, when you're middle-age crisis? Midlife crisis, there you go. People mistake it for a midlife crisis. Because, you see, older men, they'll go out and buy a new sports car. Or try to get a new young woman.
That's right.
Because they're trying to make up for time they think they missed. But it's God's eternal clock going off inside of them saying, what have you done for me?
Come on.
I put an eternal purpose inside of you.
Come on.
What have you done for me?
That's good.
And so we get nervous because we're going, something's missing. We don't know what it is. But it's the purpose of God ticking off inside of you saying, it's time. I need to come out of you. I have a purpose. But don't quit because something goes wrong. Don't quit because it goes wrong. Go over to Ephesians chapter 2. Ephesians chapter 2. But here's what I want to go to. We were at the movies, me and Pastor Linda and Zoe, and before the movie started, they had a short film that came up before the movie. And when the short film finished, Zoe says to me, Dad, that was a great movie, let's go. She was joking, but then I thought, what if we treated life that way? What if you treated life that way? You know, you go and sit down, you're watching a movie, and the star gets in a predicament it looks like he can't get out of. What if we just said, well, it's all over now, and walked out of the movie, even though it just started 10 minutes ago?
Yes.
But most Christians treat their life that way.
Wow.
We get caught in a scene, and we think it's the whole movie.
Wow.
That's good.
That's good.
It's just a scene. It's not the whole movie.
Yes.
That's why if we go and we see, before movies, they have these things called trailers.
Yes.
Right? And they're just little scenes that are made to show you a movie that's coming. It's not the whole movie, it's just little scenes.
Yes.
But what if you saw the trailer and said, well, I already seen the movie, I don't need to go see it? Then the trailer didn't do its job. Because when we see the little scenes, our excitement is, I gotta see the whole movie.
Yes.
It's like James Bond. How do you like James Bond? I like James
Yes.
Bond.
I love James.
007.
Yes.
And he gets in trouble,
Uh-huh.
and it looks like he can't get out of it.
Yeah.
But we don't walk out of the movie and say, oh, he's never going to get out of it, and
Yes.
leave. We sit there with anticipation,
Yes.
knowing
Yes.
somehow, some way, he's going to get out of it, right? And all of a sudden we hear, da-da-da-da,
Yes.
and he gets out, and we get excited
Yes.
because he's free.
Right, yes.
Don't quit because everything isn't going your way.
Yes.
It's just a scene in your life, but it's not your whole story.
Yes.
See, our Savior Jesus was beaten. He was crucified and he was buried. But I got news for you. That was just a scene in his life. That wasn't his whole life. See, you might feel like something's dead and buried in your life, but you know what? It's just a scene.
That's it.
It's not the whole movie.
That's
Don't
what
give
it
up
is.
on it.
Yes.
Are you over at Ephesians?
Yes.
Start in verse 1. And he was made alive who were dead in trespasses and sin. Dead. He's saying, Ephesians chapter 2, verse 1. He said, this is just a scene. This isn't your whole movie. You were this. You're not this anymore.
Yes.
You were dead. Death means eternal separation from God. See, the worst death for a non-believer isn't their physical death.
Yes.
It's the second. It's the eternal death. And it's the one that separates you from God forever. That's the worst part.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
you're dead. But he says, you were dead. See, Adam and Eve bit from fruit. They didn't die physically, they died spiritually first. Separated from God. Right?
Yes.
Separated from God. He said, you were once separated from God. You're not any longer.
That's right.
Amen.
That was just a scene in your life, but it wasn't the whole story.
Right.
Sin in the Greek is the word harmatia. It means missing the mark, bullseye. Come here, try this for a second. I want you to hold my mic. So, this is my daughter's little bow and arrow thing. Hold this. Follow me. We're going to pretend this is the target right here. Okay, this is the bullseye. Sin is missing the mark. This is well, it's actually mine now. It's my daughter's. We're going to use it because in archery, when you miss the bullseye, it's called sin. And so,
Wow.
if I take it and I aim at that, and I just missed it, that's considered a sin.
Huh. Okay.
That's considered sin. And we think this. We think that when we cuss, that's sin. It is. Don't get me wrong. If you still, we think that's sin. But there's a greater purpose in what he was saying here. What he was saying is, when our purpose in life doesn't hit the target,
Yes.
we sinned.
Come on.
God put a purpose inside of you.
Come on. Jesus.
But we get stuck in scenes that will stop us from ever hitting that target.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Because we don't let the movie play out and see the end of the movie.
Yes. Come on, Pastor.
Come on. Wow.
So sin isn't just a little thing that says, hey, you cuss, I repent. No. What he's saying, it's even bigger.
Yes.
Are you hitting the target?
That's good.
I put inside of you.
Yes.
I put purpose inside of you. Before God ever put you on earth, he set you up. You were like an arrow in his quiver.
Yes.
And he's shooting you at the target.
Yes.
And you have to stay the course.
Yes.
Come on.
You have to stay the course. There was a open air preacher who was talking about sin and redemption. And he was talking about the weight, the burden of sin. He was talking about the weight of sin. And there was a smart aleck kid in the crowd, and he yells out, "Hey, preacher, why should I give my life to God? I don't feel any weight." I don't feel any burden. You're talking about a burden and a weight of sin. I don't feel it. He said, so tell me, preacher, how much does sin weigh? 80 pounds? 10 pounds? And the preacher said, young man, let me ask you a question. If there's a dead body here, lying on the ground, and I put a 400-pound weight on that chest of that dead body, how much weight does he feel?
How about that?
And the young guy said, he doesn't feel any, because he's dead. And the preacher said, my point exactly. You don't feel sin because you're spiritually dead. A Christian should be feeling the weight of sin. So I got news for you today. If you're not feeling the weight of sin, you might be dead. The Apostle Paul was writing to Ephesus because they didn't know they were rich. They were acting like beggars. They didn't realize they were rich in mercy, rich in grace, rich in forgiveness. They didn't know that. They were acting like beggars. See, they got caught in a scene, and they let that scene give them their identity.
Yes.
They weren't letting the movie play all the way out so they could see who they really are.
Yeah.
See, you might have identity problems because you are just stuck in a scene. You didn't let the movie play out to find out who you really are.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're going to stay stuck.
Yeah.
I don't care how bad it is in what you are. It's just a scene in your life. That's all it is. Don't go and say, you know what? Something happened to me in the morning. Now I have a bad day. No, you didn't. You had a bad moment. You didn't have a bad day. Redeem the rest of the day. Don't stay there. It's easy for us to quit. And the sad thing about it for Christians, we're the ones that are not supposed to quit. But it's easy for us to quit. I don't know about how many of you are boxing fans. Okay, well, I know Paula is. Paula used to judge boxing matches. But there was a fight a long time ago where Mike Tyson was fighting against a guy named Buster Douglas.
Yes.
Pastor Linda and I got it at our house. We had the fight and we invited her father over. Her father was a big boxing fan. My dad was a professional boxer. And so we were watching the fight. Well, everybody was talking about how Buster Douglas had no chance. When the fight starts, they're in the corner. They haven't even started coming out to fight. And the announcer goes, well, you know, this will be a major shock. Not if Buster Douglas wins, but if he can weather the first few rounds. If he can make it halfway through the fight, that will be a shock. That's what they were saying. So, somebody forgot to tell Buster Douglas. But the bell rings, and they come out. And Tyson starts coming in. And one thing Buster Douglas had, he had a great jab. And when Tyson takes a swing, Buster Douglas sat back and hit him with the jab. When he hit him with the jab, I don't think Tyson felt ever being hit like that before. Because he normally knocked out the guys in the first 47 seconds of the fight.
Yes.
But when he got hit, it stunned him. You can see it on his face.
Yes.
And so the announcer starts saying, well, you know, this is going to be an interesting fight, but it's probably not going to last very long. And then Tyson put his head down and started taking some swings. The funny thing about it was Douglas kept hitting him.
Come on.
Yes.
And the ratio was almost 4-1 in punches thrown on Buster's favor after the first round.
Yes.
So the announcers thought, well, you know, maybe Buster's giving all he has right in the beginning because, you know, he's probably going to get knocked out. Well, the second round, Buster really dominates the second round. And the announcers started going, well, you know what, he is looking pretty good, and he's doing something, and his jab is powerful. And Mike looks a little confused. Well, you know, for the first time ever, and then they bring this up, that Mike Tyson got knocked down in training. And everybody thought it was a joke, but now it looks like maybe it's not a joke. But what's happening is these guys are putting their opinion on every scene that is happening.
Come on,
You need to
Pastor.
be aware that there's people in your life that are putting captions to your scene and calling something that is that isn't. And you need to be aware that somebody's trying to label you on something that it's not. You can't let someone else's opinion who's not in the ring with you take your life. And so Tyson is in there, and you can see he's a little confused because he's getting hit, and it's hurting because he hadn't been hurt. Well, about round 6, it looks like Tyson's legs are going. We get to round 8, and Tyson looks like he's going. Then he throws an uppercut, and he hits Buster Douglas square on the chin, and Buster goes down. And the announcer says, he was just saying seconds ago, Tyson's in trouble. Now he's saying, now his scene caption changed.
Yes,
Well,
yes.
Buster doesn't look like he's going to get up.
Come on, Pastor.
He's down. He struggles to his feet. He has both hands on the mat. He's pushing himself up. Oh, he barely gets up. Let's see if he can weather the storm. And then ding, ding, ding.
Wow.
He got saved under the bell. That's what they said. So he walks back. And then we start, well, Tyson just needs to press him in this round to see if he can last because he's going to have to press him to see if his head's clear. Round 9 comes, and they weather the storm, both of them. But you can see Buster doesn't look as hurt as he did. I think it was round 10, and Buster lays a left and a right on Tyson, and Tyson goes down, and he's down, and the announcers are shocked, the world's shocked, and Tyson can't get up, and he barely gets up, but it's over. The ref comes in, and the first thing the announcer says is, Mike Tyson has been knocked out. This is the guy who's been giving all the commentary throughout. He's been changing left and right. Kind of like your friends when you're in trouble. They're not there to do it. You know what I'm saying. And I didn't know that. But Mike Tyson wins. But see, when he got knocked down, they thought that was the end of the story. That was just the end of the scene. But it wasn't the whole story.
Yes.
Because there was more story to be written. Buster gets up and knocks him out. Just because you've been knocked down, your story isn't over.
That's right.
Just because you've been knocked down, your story isn't over.
That's right. Amen.
There's more to come.
Yes.
Don't walk out in the middle of a scene. You're going to miss the best part. Verse 2.
Jesus.
In which you once walked. Walk implies lifestyle. Walk means you're walking towards something. But in this case, you're walking towards a place called nowhere. In a town called Lost. In a street called Aimless. In a house called Dead. And you're dead without Jesus.
Yes.
You're dead without Jesus. You don't quit because things get rough.
Yes.
You got to hang in there. Because the best is yet to come.
Yes.
Amen. That's a good word.
In which you once walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air, the spirit which now works in the sons of disobedience. We were influenced. We were influenced by the world system. We were once influenced by Satan. We were once influenced by the spirit of disobedience that challenged everything that was God.
Yes.
We were once influenced by it, but we're not any longer. You don't quit because things are going wrong. When I was in high school, I was playing the basketball team. We played this team called Marshall, and they beat us by 17 points. And the week before, they got beat by a school called Belmont. Belmont beat them by 28 points. Belmont. We got a Belmont alum over there. And Belmont beat, and we were playing Belmont the next week. Nobody in the league thought we were going to win, must have a chance to make it close, because we had lost to Marshall by 17, and they beat Marshall by 28. But we knew we hadn't played a great game. We knew we could be better. But the prediction was that Belmont was going to go undefeated. And I remember our coach telling us, if we're going to beat them, we're going to have to play a near-perfect game. No talking, just working. We need to work. And so we went to practice all week working hard. I remember all the boxing out drills and everything. And he said, listen, we can win this game. We just can't turn the ball over. We can win this game. We just need a rebound. And so I remember when we got there, we were all tense. I had not seen us like that before. We were really tense, and they were loosey-goosey in warm-ups. We were tense. And I remember going back in the locker room before we come out for the game to start. One of the guys did something dumb on accident, and every one of us broke out laughing. And we couldn't stop laughing, so we go on the court, we're still laughing. But it broke the tension.
Amen. Good.
Once the game started, they got the ball. The first shot they took hit the back of the rim, and I was standing there. I went about the rebound, turned around, passed it out, and it was a fast break. And we scored. We were up 2-0. What ended up happening was, at halftime, we were up by 22 points.
Wow.
They were shocked because they didn't think we were going to have a chance. We were in our locker room, and we were shocked that we're up by 22. I remember the reverberations through the league were shocked because they would share scores while we were playing of what was happening. And people were shocked to find out our score. And I remember that we were in the locker room at halftime, and I was thinking, what if they came back and beat us because we didn't go out and play like we did the first half? So I told the guys, I said, listen, I said, we need to let them know that if they want to win this game, they're going to have to scrap for everything they're going to get. We need to die for every loose ball. We need to go after everything so they know we're here to play. We need to break their psyche to think it was going to be easy. We have to make them hustle for everything. And so we go out there, and I remember one of the plays, the ball had bounced between two of their players near the out-of-bounds line. I was standing back by the free throw line. I take off running, and they were going for the ball kind of nonchalantly. I dove in there between them and grabbed the ball. I tried to save it, but I went out of bounds. But I remember the look on their face. It was like, dang, we're really going to have to work at this. I go back and told their guys, listen, they're not willing to work to get this. Everything we get, take authority with it because they're backing up. We ended up winning the game by 32.
Wow.
I'm not going to tell you what happened the next time we played it. No, that doesn't add anything to the story where I'm going. But according to everybody else, we were supposed to lose. That was the scene in our life. But it wasn't the whole story.
Yes.
We worked at it. So don't quit because somebody else, they look more powerful, they look better than you.
Yes.
Don't quit
Yes.
because you think the devil has the upper hand. Your story's not over.
Yes.
It doesn't matter where you're at right now. It doesn't matter if you've fallen, get up.
Yes.
It ain't over. It's not over. There's more to the story. Let's keep going. Verse 3. Among whom also we once conducted ourselves in the lust of the flesh, fulfilling the desires of the flesh and of the mind, and were nature of children of wrath, just as others. The Bible says that David, it says, at the time that kings should be at war, David was in Jerusalem. Man, I got to tell you this. If you're not in the place you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there, it's going to bring problems.
Come on.
At the time kings are supposed to be at war, David's home. He's in Jerusalem. He gets out of his bed, walks in a balcony, and he sees a woman taking her bath, and her name is Bathsheba.
Yeah.
I find that funny because he's looking out, and her name's Bathsheba, and she's taking a bath. Would her name be Shower Sheba if she's taking a shower? But he sees her, and he sends guards to go get her. And he sleeps with her, and he gets her pregnant. One problem, she's married.
Yes. Yes.
So what does David do? He compounds the problem. He takes her husband, puts him in the front lines, and they kill him. Essentially, David murdered him.
Yes.
So what happened? David is now an adulterer
Yes.
and a murderer.
Yes.
Well, you know what? That was just a scene in his life. That wasn't the whole story. David becomes the most beloved king in all the history of Israel. Now listen to me. I'm not making light of adultery. Alright? Because if you committed adultery, you need to make amends. You need to bring fruits of repentance. And it doesn't mean for a year. It means as long as you get the other person's trust up. Because everything in life moves at the speed of trust. Everything in life moves at the speed of trust. And so you have to do whatever it takes to win back that trust that you breached.
Yes.
You said the I do's and you broke it. You don't get off the hook in 6 months.
Come on.
You do everything in your power to make it right. So I'm not making light of that. Okay? But it was just a scene in his life. And it can be just a scene in your life if you do everything right to get back. It's just a scene. It's not the whole movie. Don't quit because things go bad. Don't quit because everything gets piled on you. He was an adulterer and a murderer, yet he turns out to be the most beloved king in Israel. Let me do this. I don't want you to quit.
No.
Milan, stand here for a second, and Sean, stand next to him. No, you're not gonna fight. Just stand here. You guys, stand side by side. Face this way. Just face this way. Side by side. Okay, I'm gonna have to get to new people. Stand like this, side by side. Just that. There you go. Okay. Don't move. Don't say anything until I tell you to. All right. Let's just say they're having a 100-meter race. Okay. Take 2 steps forward. Just little ones. Just don't try to beat each other. Just stay right there. Alright, so the race started. Should he quit?
No.
Why not? It just started, right?
Yeah.
Alright, take 3 steps forward. You take 1. Stop 3 only. Should he quit now?
No.
Why not? It's not over, right?
Right.
Take 3 more steps.
You got it.
Take 1 step. All right, so now he's at 50 meters, he's at 30.
Yep.
Here's where most people quit already.
Yeah.
Why? Because I don't have a chance. I'm not going to, he's already saying, I'm not going to win, I don't have a chance. He's already beaten me. The story hasn't ended yet, but we're already putting an end to it.
Come on.
So he's here. Okay, take 4 steps out and stop. Take 2 steps forward, come and stand right here. All right, it's not good. So now he's at 80 meters and he's at 50. Should he quit now?
No.
Most Christians do, right here. Well, God's not going to come through for me. Why? He already won. Look at the stuff that comes out because we're looking at something in front of us. We don't see the whole picture, but we're already saying we can't do it. Just based on what we see with our eyes. But we don't base it on what we see in our heart. So let's say the race is going on. Fall down on the ground here.
That's right. God's making a big happen.
So he's down. But he quit. How does he win? He can't.
That's right.
Because he quit. In his mind, he was stopped by a picture that said, in this scene, you lose. But he didn't do the whole movie because he was supposed to win.
Yes.
See, as Christians, we have this thing of saying, you know what? I win. I read the back of the book. The sad thing about it is most Christians say that, but they don't live that.
That's
Because we
right.
quit.
No endurance.
In the middle of something happening. When it doesn't look good, we quit. But no, you read the back of the book. Why are you quitting?
Yes.
Come on.
See, so run and go touch that wall.
I can run now?
Yeah. So if you look at that picture, the only reason he would win is because he didn't quit.
Yes.
Amen.
The only reason.
That's right. That's right.
He needs to follow through. We need to follow through. We need to go through something to
Yes.
get there. But we can't be moved by what we see.
Yes.
Because what you see is just a scene.
That's
It's not the
right.
whole movie. Remember, we started this with God had written all your days in a book.
Yes.
God didn't write it in the book to make you a loser.
Amen. Come on, Jesus.
He wrote your days in a book, fashioned purpose inside of you because you were going to win something.
Yes.
You were going to accomplish something. You guys
Yes.
sit down. Thanks. They were fashioned for you. There's purpose inside of you, calling out to you. Watch this. Don't give up because things aren't going good. Verse 4. But God. Say, but God.
But God.
This is where the story changes.
Yes.
This is where your DNA is severed from your family.
Yes.
This is where the curse is broken.
Come on.
Yes.
This is where the addiction is broken. This is where you get your breakthrough.
Yes.
This is where you win.
Yes.
But God, you were this in those scenes. But the whole story, when it's finally written, is here's where you're at.
Yes.
This is who you are. You're not that anymore. You're this.
Amen. Come on. Thank you, Lord.
Amen.
But God, who is rich in mercy, because of his great love with which he loved us, even when we were dead in trespasses, made us alive together with Christ. By grace you have been saved. Two sinners. Well, one sinner, one saved person. Both sin. The sinner sins because of his nature. The saved one sins against his nature.
Wow.
Let me say that again.
Come on. That was
The sinner sins because it's his nature.
Yes.
The saved one sins against his nature.
Yes.
crazy to say. That's heavy.
He shouldn't be comfortable in sin, right?
No.
Yes.
A pig and a sheep fall in mud. The sheep screams out and does everything in his power to get out. Why? Because it's not his nature. But the pig wallows in it. Why? Because it's his nature. If you're in sin and you're not doing everything to get out of it, you might be a pig. You don't wallow in sin. You look to get out of it.
Yes.
But if you like it and you're wallowing in it,
Okay.
you're not a sheep. Sheep don't like mud.
Yes.
Sinners like the mud.
Yes.
Saints don't like the mud.
That is so good.
Listen, go over to John chapter 5. I want to share something with you as we end this. John chapter 5. When I was studying for this, I was looking at this verse because I wanted to use it as a piece to show you that it's just a scene and not a movie. And most of you will know this story. And the story is this, that there was a man who was lame, who was on a bed at a pool called Bethesda. And what ended up happening was the angels would come by and stir the water up, and then whoever got in it first was healed. How many remember that story?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm reading this thing, and I see some things in there that I hadn't seen before. And so I had to really start looking into this. And I know verse 4 in most Bible translations is not even in there. And so I know that controversy, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about seeing some things. But let's go over to John chapter 5. And we're going to begin in... We're going to begin in verse 1. And I'm going to point some things out to you as we go through this. But I just want to share this with you because I found this really interesting. Verse 1 says, After these, there was a feast of the Jews, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem. I love that the fact the Bible always says that God's things are placed on a high place, on an elevated place, that Jesus had to go up to Jerusalem.
That's good.
And I love that because it tells me, when you look at the Bible, every time Israel got in battle, they were in a high place. They were either on a mountain or a hill. They were in an elevated. It didn't matter the condition of Israel. It didn't matter if they were in a good place or a bad place. They were always in an elevated place, and we always found the enemy in the valley. And that's because God wants to let you know that your enemies are always beneath you. They were never above you. Now, there in Jerusalem was a sheep gate, a pool, which is called in Hebrew Bethesda, having 5 porches. Bethesda means house of mercy. Verse 3. In these lay a great multitude of sick people, blind, lame, paralyzed, waiting for the moving of the water. For an angel went down and stirred at a certain time into the pool and stirred the water. And then whoever stepped in first, after the stirring of the water, was made well of whatever disease he had. Now, a certain man was there who had an infirmity for 38 years. When Jesus saw him lying there, he knew that he had already been in that condition a long time. And he said to him, Do you want to be made well? Verse 7, the sick man answered and said, Sir, I have no one to put me into the pool of the waters when the water is stirred, but when I am coming, another steps down before me. Verse 8, Jesus said to him, Rise, take up your bed, and walk. And immediately the man was made well, took up his bed, and walked. And that day was the Sabbath. Now, when I was reading this, I had preached this before, and I heard people preach this, that this guy was lame, he was in a bed, and he had been trying to get healed for 38 years. That all sounds really great, but that's not in the Bible. That's not in the Bible. It doesn't say that this guy was a lame guy. It said he had an infirmity in verse 5, infirmity for how many years? 38. And in verse 7 it says he was sick. It didn't say he was lame. But I heard that preached all the time, and I preached it myself, that he was lame, but it didn't say that. So I got excited when I was reading it. I said, hey, Lynn, I said, look what I found. And I was reading it to her, and then she says to me, read it to me. So I read it to her, and then she says to me, you know, it doesn't even say he was waiting around for 38 years to get healed.
Wow.
And so the fact that we do know is this, that this guy had an infirmity for 38 years. That's what we know. We know he's at the pool. We don't know how long he's been there.
Wow.
Come
Right?
on. Come on.
That's a good word.
Come on.
He was lame? No. He was paralyzed? No. And so he had an infirmity. We know he was sick. Why? Because verse 7 says so. But here's the interesting thing. I believe this guy walks. I believe he moves. Let me tell you why. You know, in fact, let's hear it out of his own mouth. Go to verse 6. I'm not losing my point, but verse 6 says, and when Jesus saw him lying there and knew that he had already been in that condition a long time, he said to him, do you want to be made well? Simple question, right? Yes or no answer. But listen closely to what this guy says. He says, the sick man answered and said, sir, I have no one to put me into the pool when the water is stirred. But when I am coming, another steps down before me. What did he say? But when I'm coming.
Yeah.
Wait. He just said he didn't have anybody to put him in the pool. But then he says, but when I'm coming. Wait. What? You don't have anybody to put you in the pool, but when you're coming, somebody steps down before me. That tells me that he's probably very weak in body and could probably move at a snail's pace, but he was walking there because he had no one to help him. But yet, when I'm coming, he's moving in that direction. But somebody beats him. So it begs the question, okay, so if he had nobody that could put him in the pool, then who was feeding him? Where did he get food from? He had to be able to get up to walk. To go somewhere. It may have took him a while to get there. But people putting money down on his bed or something, he took that money and got something to eat. But he had nobody to help him. Maybe in his early years, his family helped him. Because he had it for 38 years. But we don't know how long he was at the pool. Right?
That's good.
But my point is this. Because he couldn't get there, that was just a scene in his life. It isn't the whole movie. Because let's keep reading. Verse 8. And Jesus said to him, rise, take up your bed, and walk. His movie wasn't over. His scene was. Because in his mind, he thought the only way I can get healed is by getting in this pool. That was his whole thing. That was his mindset. I can only get healed if I get in the pool. But greater than the pool was standing before him. See, you might be in trouble now. You might have circumstances and thinking, my only way is if this person gives me a check to get me out of this. But greater than that person giving you a check is standing before you. In the name of Jesus. I can only get healed if Bob lays hands on me. But Bob's not around. But greater than Bob is standing before me. In the name of Jesus. Well, I can only get a word if Pastor preaches the word. But greater than pastor is somebody in that pulpit named Jesus, using any vessel that stands there. Amen? Don't quit because you think it should come one way.
Yes.
See, watch what it says. And immediately the man was made well and took up his bed, and that day was the Sabbath. The Sabbath was the day that the Pharisees were putting in people that work could not be done. Healing could not be done. Jesus healed them anyways.
Amen.
See, your breakthrough will come on a day you don't even expect it to come. Get ready because your breakthrough is coming on the day you least expect it. So let me wrap it up with this. Let me say this. People are going to try to label you.
Yes.
And they're going to try to label you by the scene they enter your life in.
Yes.
People are going to try to label you by the scene they enter your life in.
Yes.
Don't let it happen. Could you imagine if people who entered in Joseph's life trying to label him when he was in the pit.
Come on.
Or trying to label him when he was running out of Potiphar's house.
Yes.
Or trying to label him when he was in prison.
Yes.
Could you imagine them calling him a jailbird?
Come on.
Making an enemy of him and didn't realize the
Yes.
purpose that was in him? That he was going to be second in command in all of Egypt?
Yes.
And he was going to have your life in his very hands?
Yes.
But because you choose to alienate him and choose to isolate him in a scene, you miss the whole movie?
Jesus. Speak, Holy Ghost.
Don't judge somebody because of the scene they're in.
Yes.
You don't know if they're going to save you later on.
Yes.
Don't judge me where I'm at today.
My God.
Because God's going to do something great inside of me, and you may need help down the road. And since you alienated me, don't let people judge you.
My God.
Judge me where I'm standing now.
That's right.
Because this is just a scene. This ain't the whole movie.
Yes.
Stick around and see what God does
That's
with me.
right.
Because there's a bigger
Good word.
part coming.
Come on now.
See, we like David's life because he's king, yeah. But we really enjoy his life because of his struggles. We enjoy watching David's movie because he had to overcome a bear and a lion. He had to overcome a Goliath, a Saul. We like the fact that he was crowned king is a cherry on top. But we
Yes.
can relate to him and we like his story because of the scenes in his life.
Yes.
But when the movie culminates of his life, we
Yes.
like the ending. Don't give up until you see the ending.
Yes.
See, here's the thing. Most of us walk out at the end of a movie when it says the end. We walk out. Stick around for the credits. Because you want to see people's names on the credits. Not just who stars in it, but you want to take particular interest on who directed the film
Come on.
and who edited the film.
Yeah.
Because you're going to find out at the end of your movie, you directed it
Yeah.
and you get to edit it.
Come on,
You
Pastor.
get to place people in the scene in the position you want them.
Yes.
And you get to decide what ends up on the editing floor.
Yes.
But that's next week's message called Lights, Camera, Action. And you're going to find out how you can edit your own life. But that's next week. But I want to leave you with this.
My God.
I don't care what position you're in. I don't care what you're going through. It's just a scene.
Yes.
It's not the whole movie.
Yes.
Amen. Let's bow our heads.